Lights, camera, biceps, ditch. Let's watch this movie and flex our shit. Movie buff, flexing real hard, watching badass stuff. Movie buff. We don't watch no movies that suck big nuts. Movie buff. Damn, I just ripped my shirt cause I flex too much. Movie buff. Open up the backpack full of snacks, let's relax. Pop the movie and then pass the peanut butter cups.
What up, guys? Thanks for joining me on another episode of Movie Buffs. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing and rewatching and talking all about the original Rocky from 1976. And joining me today is my female co-host. Her name is Yahida. All right, Yahida, are you ready to rock and roll?
I think I'm ready.
I showed her this movie for the first time, right? You had never seen it before, correct?
No, I'd never seen it.
Had you at least heard about it?
I'd heard about it. My dad's a big fan, and he talked about it all the time. I just never sat down and watched it.
None of them, right?
None of them.
Okay. All right. So watching it for the first time, overall, what'd you end up thinking of it?
I was very surprised at how much of a dramatic film it was, and I very much enjoyed it.
What did you think it was going to be?
Just fight straight up boxing the entire time.
Just like a fighting movie?
Just straight up, yeah.
Yeah. So in the opening scene of Rocky, he's fighting in this, it looks like it's some underground place. I don't know if it's a bar, club, or just a warehouse or whatever. I think in another movie, he calls it the Bucket of Blood.
Oh.
Yeah, he said, I used to fight in this place called the Bucket of Blood. I took some nasty beatings down there.
That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that place is the Bucket of Blood, but I don't know exactly.
Okay.
I mean, he's at this point in time, I think he's had over 60 fights.
Wow.
And he says that he's only been at Mix for 6 years. So he's had 60 fights, over 60 fights in 6 years. So he could have had fights anywhere.
I do like how they shoot throughout the streets. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you get a really good idea of what Philadelphia is like in his neighborhood in this movie. They show a lot of different people in it. They show the streets a lot. It's pretty awesome.
And I was also very surprised to find out that he wrote this movie.
Yeah, he wrote it I
was like, wow.
I think it's famously he wrote it in 3 days in his car.
Wow.
Yeah, he was homeless and I don't remember the exact story, but I think at one point he had a dog, and I want to say it might be that dog that's in the movie, but he had a dog and he had to sell his dog because he had no money.
Oh yes, you told me this.
But then once he got a check, he got his dog back.
That's nice. I do love his apartment though. It's like a legit bachelor pad, not like a bachelor pad, but like a single man's home. Like it's all dirty and everything's out of place.
To me, it looks like a shithole.
It is. That's what it is. I'm trying to be nice.
I mean, it's got a little kitchen when you walk in. It's got a tiny living room. I doubt there's a bedroom. I think he just has a cot or a bed in the corner. He has a mattress.
With holes.
Yeah, he has a mattress strapped up against a door frame. I'm assuming that's like his version of a punching bag.
Maybe.
So it's definitely a rugged, old school 70s feel.
But he does have his fish and his turtles. And that really cool lampshade, which I always really like.
I do wonder. So like in the the sixth movie, we see that he still has his turtles. I wonder if they're the actual same turtles, because they very well could be. Turtles live a long fucking time. So they very well could have been the exact turtles from the first movie, but I don't know.
They could be.
You know, one thing that I noticed rewatching this movie is, at least in that first fight at the Bucket of Blood, Rocky, he really does fight like shit. Like he's bad. He's bad. I mean, he's tough. He goes hard. He's got like an aggression to him, but for the most part, his skill is pretty terrible.
Man.
Go ahead.
This is my favorite part of the movie, is him and Adrian's interactions. So like right now he's walking into the pet shop, which he had done before. Well, he was like kind of like looking through the glass prior to this, and he saw the really cute puppies, but it was at nighttime and it was closed. So now Adrian's here, which I think is super, super, super cute, their interaction.
I think it's cool how Rocky is very persistent trying to get her out of her shell, But at the same time, I do wonder, like, what the hell is her problem? Like, what's her problem? Apparently, like, him and Polly have been friends since they were kids. They've been friends for a long time, which means Adrian has probably known Rocky for a really long time. And yet she still treats him like he's some, super stranger who she doesn't know if she should have any conversations with. And I don't know if that's just because they're trying to show us that she's really, really shy, like overly shy and just antisocial, or if she straight up doesn't know if she trusts Rocky or like knows him enough to want to have a conversation with him, which I think that's a little crazy because he's been her brother's best friend for years.
I guess I never really thought about it like that. I always considered her just being super, super shy. But yeah, she's known her brother's best friend forever. You would think she'd be a little bit more comfortable talking to him.
So right off the bat, one thing that's pretty cool about this movie is you get a lot of character building. Well, not necessarily building, but you get showcased the character a whole lot here in these first few scenes. So right off the bat, you get to see Rocky fighting at the bucket of blood or whatever it's called, and you get to see that he's kind of a crappy fighter, but he likes to fight because whenever he goes into the back room and the promoter is coming to pay them, he made a whopping $40 for that win. And his opponent who lost made a huge $19 for his loss.
Man.
And then he asks the promoter, when can I fight again? So at the very, like, that tells me one of two things. Either he's broke and he needs the money, or he really loves fighting. And at first glance, you might think, well, he's probably broke and he needs the money. But he doesn't he lives in a shithole, so the rent can't be that expensive for that place. He walks everywhere, so he doesn't have a car payment or worries about gas. And then on top of that, he does have a job. It's not the greatest job in the world. He's a collector for a loan shark, but he does have a job. So it makes me think that, okay, we're supposed to believe that Rocky loves fighting.
Yeah, because at that point, it's not really, like you said, like about the money. He's not like breaking the bank or anything with $40. But I guess it's just to show us that he really does love fighting and he really doesn't need it after all.
Then we see him in his apartment, right? He's standing at his apartment. He's looking at a picture of himself when he was a kid. And then he's looking at himself in the mirror now. And you can really get that sense that he's asking himself, what the hell happened to me? I'm not that same person anymore. What happened to me? Where's my life going? Am I a loser? Am I a bum? Because that's what everybody's shouting whenever he fights. Because everybody says he fights like a bum.
Okay.
And Mick calls him a bum all the time. And he calls everybody that he fights a bum all the time. So that's what he hears all the time, is that he's a bum. Then you get to see him interacting with Adrian. So you see that he's a pretty nice guy overall. He's trying to charm a shy girl. He hasn't broken through yet, but he's given it a shot. And then you get to see that he works for a loan shark. He's a collector. But when he was supposed to break the thumb of the guy he was collecting from, you could tell he felt bad about it and he ended up not doing it. So he gets in a little bit of trouble with the loan shark. So you get all these different layers of the character, which I think is pretty awesome. And it kind of just, it makes you understand what kind of person Rocky is right off the bat.
Yeah. I will say, out of like many characters in movies and television shows, he is one of my favorite. Just because of that aspect. Is like, at first I was like, okay, Rocky, he's just a fighter. He's like a bully in a sense. But then you start seeing his interaction with Adrian, and then he's kind of got like a softer side, like, oh, you know what? I don't want to break this guy's thumb. And generally, he's a nice guy, and he perseveres. So I really do like that, like the complexities of it, peeling off the layers of his personality. And then, like you said, when he looks back at his childhood photo, he's like, how did I go from that to this? Like, what happened in between? Is it worth it? He just kind of like ponders on that, which is very interesting, very complex.
If you were Adrian, would you be attracted to Rocky?
I would.
Really?
Yes. As someone who's like very shy myself, I do tend to like opposites of me because I need to balance myself out. Like, I'm very shy and I'm not going to date another shy guy. We're just going to stare at each other the whole time. Like, I don't want that. So I would like someone to like take me out of my shell and like talk to me, you know? So Yeah, I think definitely I would say yes. But she's very, very shy.
Even though he's a little bit of a wise guy. I mean, he wears a leather jacket in the movie. He's got that I don't know what kind of hat that is, but he's got that,
Fedora,
that
kind of.
fedora Guido hat going on,
He's,
and he wears the fingerless gloves, and
yeah.
he definitely has a wise guy look going on.
I think I would be like, you know what? Let me see what's beneath the surface. I'd be interested in that. I do like his outfits throughout all the entire Rockies. So I do like his leather jacket and his shoes and his hat. I think he wears it well.
Yeah, Rocky has style.
He does. He does.
He's cool. So there's a part in the movie where Rocky, in the very beginning, he goes to the gym for the first time. It's called Mickey's Gym. Now we get to see where he actually trains, where he trains how to fight. He goes in, he's trying to open up his locker, and he can't get into it. Then he finds out that his stuff has been bagged up and put on the wall, and they call it Skid Row. So obviously that's not a good thing. It means that he's been demoted, and it's like this is where the shit goes for people who are on their way out the door or who don't have a future here. And he's pissed. And then we get introduced to Mickey. Now, Mickey is a pretty badass character. I love Mickey. I think he's an awesome fucking character in this movie.
I actually can't stand him.
You can't stand him?
I don't like him at all.
I like him. I love Mickey. I think he's
Oh, wait a second. Who's Mickey? This guy?
Mickey's his trainer.
I was thinking the brother. Never mind.
You're talking about Paulie?
Yes, I can't stand Polly.
Paulie's a little bit of a douchebag.
He's annoying.
Okay?
Yeah.
But Mickey is
No.
his trainer.
Mickey, yeah, he's a good character. I like him.
Now, in this movie, I don't know if Mickey's gym is popular or not, but I think I think he's an average gym. He himself was an average fighter. I don't think he was ever a champion, and I think he trains a lot of like decent to average to maybe slightly above average fighters. Rocky, I think for sure is going to be the first person who gets a title shot that comes from his gym. Whenever he goes and first talks to Mick, he's pissed off. He's pissed off because he was put on Skid Row. And Mickey tells him that this other dude needs it, that he's a contender, he's going places, and you're just a bum. And then Rocky tells him that he recently had a fight and that he won his fight. And he's like, yeah, who'd you beat? He's Spider Rico. He's like, oh, that guy's a bum. That guy's a bum. He's like, you think everybody I fight is a bum. Well, aren't they? And he trashes him. He trashes him quite a lot in this movie until he actually starts to train him. Now, my question for you is, do you think it's warranted?
I think every situation is different and every like coach and trainer is different. But when it comes to him and it comes to Rocky, I think he needed someone to talk to him like that, in my opinion. Just like, everyone has their different style, but that's just how that coach is. And for Rocky, I think he needed that type of talking to.
Okay, so I could see that. I don't think he necessarily, when Mickey's sitting there trashing him, I don't think he's doing it because he hates him. But I do think he looks at him like a guy who has potential and is wasting it.
Right. Yes.
And it's like, get your shit together, get your head on straight, come in here and actually mean business.
Yes. And Rocky needs someone to talk to him like that.
Because as of right now, Rocky does treat boxing like a side hustle. Mm-hmm. You can see that he loves it, or else he wouldn't do it as much as he did. But he does treat it like a side hustle, a hobby.
Right. Is not his main concern. So right now he's interacting with Adrian in the pet shop and they're looking at those birds.
Yeah.
And I do like the polarity of like, he's like, yeah, I'm rough and tough. And then just like in the, beating up people business and like he's always talking crap or people are talking crap to him. But then when he talks to Adrian, he's like softer. You see his soft side. So I do love seeing that polarity between them.
So as the movie goes along, we're following Rocky in his day in Philadelphia. We're getting a taste of everything that he goes through throughout the day. Going to work, collecting, going to train, hitting on Adrian as many times as he can throughout the day. The pet shop place is right across the street from Mick's gym.
Yeah.
So he literally just has to walk across the street in order to talk to her. And and if he's gonna go talk to her, he has no excuse to not go into the gym and do some training.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like Rock, he went into the gym to open up his locker I don't really know what he was going to do when he gets there. Because at first you're thinking he's going there to get his stuff so he can train. But then he has an argument with Mick and he just ends up leaving. He doesn't even train. It's like
Yeah.
he didn't throw your stuff out in the trash. He just put it in a bag on Skid Row. Okay. You can still fucking train. So I don't even know if he was there to train or not, which is probably another justified reason why Mickey is so goddamn hard on him.
Right, right. I love right now we're currently seeing Polly
Yeah. So
in a bathroom.
Rocky goes to a local bar, a local tavern, and he's meeting up with Paulie. Paulie's his best friend. And then we find out that Adrian is Paulie's sister. And you have Rocky complaining to Paulie. It's like, what's wrong with your sister? She thinks I got bad breath or something like that. Like, just and Paulie isn't really on his sister's side. He thinks that his sister is a loser and that she's pushing
Yeah.
30 and that she's got nothing going on for herself.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if he's like telling Rocky, you're too good for her, or stay away from her, she's bad.
Yeah.
There's nothing there for you or whatever. But Rocky seems to only really care about her. He doesn't really show any interest in anybody ever besides her.
No, I've never throughout the entire series, he's never ever averted his eyes from Adrian. But what's funny that just passed is I do like about this movie, it's randomly, I don't know what the word is, but like it's like I guess just randomly like funny, like little things that pop up. Like for example, Polly was fixing his hair in the mirror with this tiny, dirty, cracked mirror, and he has no hair, so I don't know why he's doing that. I just thought it was really funny.
There is a lot of really good, just tiny little subtle scenes showing people in their day-to-day life that's great.
Yeah.
It's overlooked stuff, but if it's not there, it can make a movie feel more empty. And the dialogue is very just normal, everyday, but kind of clever, kind of funny dialogue. It's good
Yes.
stuff. And in this bar, we get the first viewing of Apollo Creed. Rocky and the bar owner are sitting there and they're watching the news, and Apollo Creed is basically cutting a promo on TV with the news station. You can tell that Rocky looks up to this guy. He's the best in the world. He's the champion of the world. He does look up to him. What did you think about Apollo in the movie?
I love Apollo. I love how like you see Rocky, who's very, very poverty area, like very poor, and then you see Apollo on the TV. And he's like looking up to him, and he's got like this super like awesome expensive suit, and he's just like so above and beyond in a way. So I do love his character, how it's like that, and then eventually towards the end, how like they interact and stuff. But I do how like the juxtaposition of how separate they are. So I do like that a lot, and I like his character as well.
It is pretty cool how important Apollo becomes to the Rocky series. He becomes just as important to the series as almost Rocky himself or any other character in the movie. In the first movie, he's meant to just be basically the bad guy. He's the bad guy. He's the guy Rocky's going to fight at the end of the movie. And he even acts like a bad guy throughout most of the movie. I mean, he's not a terrible person, but he's all about promoting and he wants to draw big numbers. And he knows that he needs to play kind of the bad guy in order to get people to care about the fight. And Rocky's going to be the underdog, the good guy. And he knows that.
Right.
So he plays it really well. I don't know if when Rocky wrote this movie, if he planned on bringing Apollo back, because normally when you have any type of sports movie and there's the ultimate bad guy at the end that you want to face, usually when you have a sequel, they get a new fresh bad guy into the fold. They bring somebody new into the fold. They don't just reuse the same guy. And in this series, they reuse him in the second movie as his foe again for the rematch. And then in the third movie, they become really, really good friends. And then in the fourth movie, of course, he ends up getting killed by the Russian and Rocky avenges his death. But then, even then, it doesn't stop there, because later on, you get the Creed series,
Right.
which is going to follow his son. So I wonder if he planned on having Apollo come back in future movies, or if the chemistry between them was just so good, the two characters, it was just so good, while he was filming it, he thought to himself, man, I got to bring him back for another movie. Or did he not change his mind until after the movie came out and people loved Apollo Creed, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to bring him back. I do wonder about that.
That's a good question because I will say I do very much enjoy their chemistry together, but I can also see like when you're watching a movie, you just love a good bad guy. Like for me personally, like villains, I'm like, man, I just love that villain. Please bring him back. So I can see it being like an audience favorite and then put into it. But then again, the chemistry is just so good. So it could be, two factors, many things going into that.
After he leaves the bar, you get another kind of like funny little scene where you get a glimpse into what kind of person Rocky is. He sees a bunch of little punk kids hanging around an atomic hoagie shop or some shit, and one of them is a young girl named Marie. I think she's like 12, maybe 13 years old. And all the kids that she's hanging out with, all the boys, they're all kind of little shits. They're all little punk ass kids.
Yeah.
And he knows that she shouldn't be hanging around with these little punks, especially at this time of night, because it is kind of late at night. So he actually gets her to follow him and he walks her home. And while he's walking her home, he's giving her a whole spiel about how she needs to be worried about getting a rep as a whore.
What?
he,
I didn't remember
he tells her,
that.
yeah, he tells her, he's like, I'm gonna use a bad word right now, whore. it's like you don't want to get a rep as a whore because then that's what everybody's gonna remember you as for the rest of your life. They're not gonna remember you; they're gonna remember your rep.
That's true. That's true, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty good scene because everything he's speaking is pretty much the truth.
Yeah.
It's just how well do you know this 12-year-old girl? Like how well do you know this kid, Rocky? You know, like you're walking her home, you're giving her the talk about don't be a whore. It's like at what point are you overstepping right now, Rock?
That's true.
And at the end, I think he even kind of knows that a little bit, but I don't think he can help himself because he kind of wants to help people. But at the end, like she goes up to her doorstep and she turns around. It's like, "Hey, Rocky!" And it's like, "Yeah, screw you, creepo."
I do like that part. I remember that.
And then Rocky's walking away, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, screw you, creepo. What do you know, Rocky?" Or something like that. He's basically saying it to himself.
He's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Rocky, he works for a guy named Gazzo. Gazzo is a loan shark.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally when you think loan shark, you think kind of like gangster or just all around bad guy, wise guy. Somebody who loans money and you don't give him his fucking money, he's going to kill you.
Yeah.
You never hear him go that extreme in the movie as far as telling Rocky to kill anybody.
Right.
But sometimes he does tell Rocky to break a few bones here and there. So when you automatically think loan shark, you usually think, okay, Rocky's working for a bad guy. He has a shady job and he's probably working for a thug.
Yeah.
But I don't know. After watching the movie, after watching multiple like this and the second one, I don't really get that sense with him. I kind of like how they made him not a complete piece of shit. Like he's not a complete piece of shit.
No, I mean, generally you would think like, oh, scary, like loan shark. Oh my gosh, I'm super scared. But it's just like not that scary. Like, he's got a job to get done. It's the environment that he's in. It's the way to survive.
Well, it's the way I'm talking about the way he actually treats Rocky. Like, I mean, he's not just all business. So we get this scene where we meet Gazzo for the first time, and right off the bat, he's asking him about Adrian.
Oh,
He's saying,
yes.
it's like, hey,
Yes.
I heard you have a date with that pet shop girl.
Mhm.
Because during the bar scene, Paulie said that he was going to try to get a date arranged between the two of them, that he was going to set it up.
That's right.
Right? I think he might even said that she wants to go out on a date or something. I forget exactly. And Gazzo already knows about it. And he's like, yeah, how do you know that? He's like, you don't think I hear things? And he gives him money. He gives him money for his date.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not a completely bad guy.
No.
He seems like a decent guy. He's just a loan shark.
Yeah, I mean, someone who like a friend cares about you, but like, you know what? I want this guy to like enjoy his date. Let me give him some money. So that was a nice thing for him to do.
You know what's super funny? Gazzo's driver, he doesn't like Rocky. He's always giving him shit.
Mhm.
He's like, did you get the name of the truck that hit you or some shit like that? Like making fun of his face.
Yeah.
He's always giving him shit, and Rocky's always giving him shit back. So Gazzo gets really pissed off because the two of them are always arguing. And what's really funny is that his driver, right towards the end of him interacting with Gazzo before they drive off, he tells Rocky that he should take Adrian to the zoo. And he's like, the zoo? He's like, yeah, I heard retards like the zoo.
That is not very nice. Oh my gosh. How did I miss that? I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, so he says retards like the zoo, and he's like he gets super pissed off, right?
Yeah.
And then he has his conversation with Gazzo, and then at the very end, he's like, "Hey, Rocky, take her to the zoo," and then
Oh my
speeds
God.
away. Rocky does not take her to the zoo in this movie, obviously. He ends up taking her to an ice rink
Yes.
to skate a little bit, and then they walk around a little bit and blah, blah, blah. They enjoy their time together. We'll get to that in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's funny is in the second movie, Rocky decides that he's going to propose to Adrian. And do you remember where he proposes?
I do remember.
Where did he propose?
Like at the zoo, right?
It was at the zoo.
Okay, how did I not make because I didn't pay attention the first time. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I'm sure they did on purpose.
Yeah, they really did it on purpose. At a certain part of the movie, we get to Rocky hooking back up with Paulie, and they're heading over to Paulie's house or Paulie's apartment. And Paulie is saying that Adrian is ready to go out on a date with him. And he's like, "Are you sure she knows about it?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm sure. She's very excited, very excited." And it turns out that he hasn't even told Adrian.
Yeah.
And not just that, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. So he goes in there and like Adrian is not ready for this. She is not ready to go out on a date. She did not agree to going out to a date. And she has a turkey in the oven and she's cooking it for Thanksgiving, right? So she's not ready for any of this shit. And what Paulie does is he basically bullies her and kicks her out of the house, takes the turkey, throws it into the backyard because he says, like, "You want a bird? Go out there and eat the bird." And then kicks her out of the house and makes her go on a date with Rocky. Rocky has to kind of like smooth it over a little bit, kind of coax her out of the room. But yes, like he forced her to go on that date. How do you feel about that?
This is where I officially hated Polly. I was like, this dude is so annoying. First off, like, okay, I try to think, I'm like, what would I do in that situation? I'd be like furious. Like, first off, it's Thanksgiving, it's my day off. I'm making a turkey and like my only family is my brother. Okay, cool. Like, let me enjoy this, right? It's a little stressful to cook. And then on top of that, he brings Rocky, which might be normal because they know each other for such a long time. Okay, whatever. But then my brother's like, "Hey, I know you're busy. I know you're cooking a turkey. You're probably like sweaty and all this stuff. And like your hands are dirty and all this thing. But you're supposed to go out on a date with my best friend. So go get changed." Like, what the heck? Like, I would be like, no, exactly how she did. And then he like gets upset that she's upset. And then throws the turkey that's not that easy. And also on top of that, turkeys are expensive. So he throws it out.
Maybe she got it for free from a church.
But still, that's not nice. Like, I was so annoyed with this scene. And the fact that I was like, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay. Yes, and he was very douchebaggery for this.
Yes.
However, think about what it led to.
Yes. And
Rocky was getting nowhere with her.
Yes.
She was not saying yes at all. Now you could be like, well, you can't just go and make somebody say yes. That's true. But you can also argue that she is too shy. She is too self-conscious. She is too nervous, too isolated, too antisocial to the point to where if she had not been booted out of the nest, so to say, in this moment, her life would have stayed like that for who knows how fucking long. Who knows what kind of like old person she would have turned into, just completely lonely by themselves. If it wasn't for this pivotal moment right here where he booted her out of the nest and made her go out on a date with Rocky, she wouldn't have fell in love with Rocky. She wouldn't have gained the confidence of being with Rocky. She wouldn't have gotten married. She wouldn't have had a child with him and an entire life in a mansion and all that stuff. So is it the worst thing in the world?
No, I 1000% agree with it, because even if Rocky was like the most debonair guy and like asked her out on a date, she would have never said yes. So the fact that her brother basically forced her into going out and she felt like obligated, like, geez, okay, I'll listen to my brother. And I do think looking back on it, she had to have been attracted to Rocky. He's an attractive guy, but she would have never done it on her own terms. She's too scared. So she needs her brother, as douchey as he is, to help her in this situation. So still a douchebag move to do,
Yes.
but she needed that. she needed someone to treat her in that way in order for her to actually go out with him.
Now, but let's not go around thinking that Paulie it has, selfless, a
Oh
whole huge
no.
amount of selflessness inside
No.
of him because while he does do a good solid for Adrian and
Yeah.
for Rocky, like it was ultimately a good deed that he did, even though he did it in a very douchebaggery way.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of hangs it over Rocky's head a little bit, It's like, hey, talk to Gazzo for me. Hey, can you get me a job in your corner
Yeah.
whenever he gets his fight? And it's like you're not gonna help me out. After I let you date my sister or whatever. So I mean, he does expect back.
Of course.
He'll
Yeah.
do for his friend, but he expects back from his friend.
Right.
Sometimes he expects too much because that's just kind of the person he is. But it's cool because, Rocky doesn't have a problem putting him in check when he has to. It's a decent friendship. It is a little bit crazy sometimes, but overall, Paulie isn't a terrible person. Otherwise, I don't think Rocky would be his friend for so long.
Right, yeah. He's in that aspect he's like I scratch your back, you scratch my back. And I mean everybody's different. And then also compared to Rocky, Rocky's such a nice guy. Other people tend to be kind of like their negative aspects a little bit more heightened, especially when you have Rocky who's such a good guy. You're like, "Ah, he's so good." And then you're like, "Oh, this dude's such a douchebag."
Have you ever been ice skating?
So I think when I was small, probably like 3 years old, but now it's been a long time.
So that's the only time you've ever been ice
Only
skating?
time now. I'd like to go again, but I definitely need to practice.
That shit looks hard.
It does.
Like I've never done it before myself. I've rollerbladed and I'm assuming that it's somewhat similar, but for the most part, that shit looks hard to me. And I don't think I'd feel very I don't think I'd be very happy falling on ice. And I'm pretty goddamn sure I'm gonna fucking fall if I go out there ice skating.
Well, they have these little things that look like old people walkers they give you. So like when you're starting out,
Yeah, but that's pathetic.
but still it helps you.
It's like all or nothing. I gotta go. If I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna bust ass like a man. I'm not gonna go out there with the freaking granny rock walker and cheat my way through the ice skating experience. Hell no.
Eventually you'll learn. Yeah. I used to rollerblade too, but it's been so long.
So during his date with Adrian, he mentions that he's had 64 fights and he's never broken his nose. Like that's his biggest feat in his life so far when it comes to his boxing career,
Wow.
is that he's had 64 fights and he's never broken his nose. And again, at the mixed gym, he said that he was there for 6 years. So that's a little over 10 fights a year. That's almost fighting every month when you think about it. That's a lot of fucking fighting.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
And to never have a broken nose, yeah, for sure. I do really like their first date when right there on the skating rink, and she's kind of like very graceful, and he's also graceful in his own way, but he's kind of awkward too. Like he's
I don't
like,
know.
I don't know if he not afford the skates, or they didn't have any for him, or he was just like too cool to wear skates.
I think that's what it was. I think he either didn't know how to ice skate or he took her there because she likes to ice skate.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, I'll just walk in my boots or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call her graceful. I mean, she seems like she's kind of waddling across that ice. But then again, I've never been on ice, so she's probably amazing compared to me.
Not amazing, but she don't fall.
All right, after their date at the ice rink, we go back to Rocky's place. So they're walking and they're making their way back to Rocky's place. Now, when they get there, this is the part of a movie. This is the part of the movie where I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, man, did Rocky push a little bit too hard? Because they're gonna go to his doorstep and he's gonna invite her in, and she doesn't want to go in.
Yeah.
She says, "No, I shouldn't. I don't want to go in."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, come on, come on." And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to. I need to go home. And he has to tell her probably like 4 or 5 times to come into his apartment.
Yeah.
And he like goes inside and he's like, pointing, "Hey, follow me, follow me." And then very slowly and cautiously, she starts walking her way up the steps
Yeah.
and making her way into his apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. When they go in there, she's looking around a little bit, but you can tell she's super uncomfortable.
Of course. Yeah.
Rocky's trying to get her to relax a little bit. She's saying that she's nervous, and he's saying, it's like, I'm nervous too. he's trying to sit down on the couch and get her to come sit down. And he's like, there's bugs in there. You want to come over here where it's safer.
Yeah.
And she won't do it.
Yeah.
She just won't. She won't do it. And then
Yeah.
she says, like, can I call my brother? Do you have a phone? Can I call my brother? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have a phone. I'll call him for you. And he just yells out the window, Paulie, your sister's
Yeah.
over here with me. And then she says that she thinks she needs to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want her to leave.
Yeah.
And then she says, no, I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts making her way to the door. And then he kind of like puts himself in between her and the door and kind of almost like puts his hands around her
Yeah.
and stops her dead in her tracks. Now, he doesn't do anything like violent or anything like that. And he doesn't even do anything overly sexually aggressive, but he does kind of back her into a corner and then kisses her. Now, that could have gone one of two different ways. Either she could have been into it, which ultimately she ends up being into it. She ends up kissing him back, and then it goes from there. Or, she could have started like screaming and pushing him off of her.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so obviously the scene went fine.
Mm-hmm.
The date went fine. It all culminated into something good. But right up until that moment, right before she decides that she's gonna kiss him back, how do you feel about his approach?
So this whole scene I thought was very interesting because the fact that she's like, you can obviously, from what we know, she's very shy. She doesn't interact with men, but she does know him. So there's that. He's not a complete stranger to her. So I don't want to sound like, I want to preface this by saying, as a woman, you always need to be careful, yes. But she is almost 30. She's older. She's not very, very young. So she goes there and he's not like grabbing her by the hand or anything. So I think a lot of the time she's talking to herself, like, I need to go. I need to go. I think a lot of it's like inner monologue coming out,
Okay.
in my opinion. So she's kind of telling herself, like, no, I shouldn't be here. I should call my brother. But then he's like, hey, like, kind of like grounding her in a way. I don't know. But I very much think that she's very attracted to him, but her conscience is like, no, you need to leave. This is not okay. But at the same time, there's that attraction. And I don't think it's too crazy. He's not, like you said, violent or anything towards her. He's trying to persuade her, which every man tries to do on a date. Like, that's not out of the ordinary. But I do find it very funny how he's very, like, acting all cool and stuff, but his apartment is so dirty. That's the one thing that bothers me. I'm like, it's just so dirty.
Though, I like everybody's place seems dirty in this
Yeah.
movie. It's almost as if like the entire city of Philadelphia is just one dirty shithole.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's like that in real life, but
Yeah.
that's what this movie depicts.
Yeah.
And maybe it was in the 70s. Maybe they cleaned it up, or maybe,
Yeah.
this is just a certain part of Philadelphia. But I mean, her place isn't that much better. It's a little better because she lives there and
Yes,
she takes
she
care
takes
of
care
it.
of it.
But it's definitely a poor
Yeah.
part of the neighborhood. And so is his. His is just a step below that.
Yeah. But I do think it's her inner monologue that she's speaking out. Like, it's her conscience saying, like, no, I need to go home, this, and that. But I can see how definitely it could have gone both ways. Generally, we know Rocky's a good guy. But at the same time, he is a man. And they are on a date, they are older. So it's not too crazy for me. And like I said, she was older. So she kind of like, maybe she felt that attraction. And she wanted this to happen. But her morals kind of like pushed that away.
I do like Adrian's character overall. I think it was a really smart pick using this woman, Talia Shire, and this type of character in the movie, because normally for most movies, when you have a protagonist, a good guy or whatever, and he's going to get the girl, usually producers like to pick very beautiful women.
Yes.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with picking very beautiful women. But I think it's kind of cool that they went with a very average looking chick in Adrian. Like, she's very average looking. She's not hot. I wouldn't really call her beautiful. She's not ugly, but she's super average. She's like a solid 5 or so, And Rocky himself, he's probably similar. He is in a little bit better shape. You know, he takes care of himself, whatever like that. But for the most part, you know, Sylvester Stallone's kind of face, he's got that kind of like, you know, slurred speech and all that bullshit. So he ain't perfect either.
Right.
I think it's smart that they chose a character like this.
Yeah.
A very like average, down to earth character for an average, down to earth dude.
Very quaint. Because when it comes down to it, Rocky is quite romantic in his own way, I should say.
Okay, so we get to a part in the movie where Apollo Creed has a problem. We got a little bit of a glimpse of it before the date scene, but Apollo Creed has a problem. He had a big fight coming up in Philadelphia. That's why he's in the city. And the guy that he was supposed to be fighting, I think he broke his hand, which is common for boxers. They break their hands a lot. But he put a lot of money into promoting this fight. He has the venue picked out. You know, people have probably already been buying tickets to the event. He needs to put up a fight.
Right.
But there's only 5 weeks time, and all the other contenders in the weight class, in the rankings, none of them want to accept a fight with the champion of the world with only 5 weeks to train. Nobody's ready.
Right.
So it sucks.
Yeah.
So he's kind of in a pickle. So he gets an idea. He gets an idea for an angle. It's like a story to tell. So we're not going to find somebody who's ranked. We're going to find an underdog. We're going to find an everyday guy. And it's like, what better way to give one of Philadelphia's own a shot at the title, right?
Okay.
That was his whole concept. So he starts looking through, I don't know what the book is called, but it looks like a giant, almost like phone book listing kind of guide that has all the, I'm assuming, registered boxers in the area.
Okay. That's
And he settles almost just completely based on gut feeling on Rocky Balboa.
okay.
I don't even think he's seen a picture of the guy, but he knows that he's Italian from the name Balboa,
Okay.
and his nickname is the Italian Stallion. So he's like Apollo Creed versus the Italian Stallion.
Yeah.
Sounds like a goddamn monster movie, you know? Like he likes the way that it sounds. So he's
Yeah.
going on pure just aesthetics alone.
Yeah.
Okay? Like it sounds cool. You got an Italian, an underdog, somebody who's straight from the heart of Philadelphia, and I'm going to give him a shot at the title, and it's going to be a spectacle, right? So they reach out to Rocky Balboa. They reach out to Rocky, and they run it down for him. They say, Apollo wants to fight you because he likes you. He wants to give you a shot at the title. And at first, Rocky says, no. It's like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just he calls himself a ham and egg fighter. Okay, so he's a very basic, like raw fighter.
Okay.
He's not champion material.
Okay.
So he declines. But this dude has a job to do. So he eventually talks Rocky into it. He says, do you believe that America is the land of opportunity? Right now, you have an opportunity to change your life, to change the world, whatever. You have a chance at the title. How many people are going to get that chance? Okay, so it's up to you to take it, right?
Right.
So then he agrees. Would you have taken the fight?
Well, if I think of myself as someone who's like the way he was looking at himself as a young child, like, geez, like, what am I doing with my life? And then, I mean, I think he's always constantly trying to, like, I don't know, as someone, he lives in the ghetto, you would think that they all kind of have that drive to leave the ghetto and to get better. So I think if I was in his situation, I'd be like, let's do it. Like, I know I'm not.
Because he's going to get paid either way.
Yeah, exactly. And he's used to getting paid like $40. And for him, that's like big money. So this is like way more than he would ever could imagine.
I think from what I remember, he ends up winning about like 35,000 after taxes and everything.
Wow.
I think he gets about 35,000.
Yeah. And then also coming, it's like the opportunity of a lifetime. You see this guy on TV all the time and then you actually get to fight him. Like that's pretty, even as scary as it is, it's still quite amazing.
Yeah. You know, I so I was thinking of the situation and whether or not I would choose it, and man, I don't know if I would. Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I would, but I don't know. Like, I don't want to get embarrassed because so I do jujitsu. I've been doing jujitsu for over 20 years now, and I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good jujitsu practitioner, but I'm not the best. I'm not world class. I'm not top of the food chain or anything like that. I'm just a good, solid jujitsu practitioner. So, in a sense, I'm not that different as far as skill gap between between Rocky and how far he is from Apollo Creed.
Okay.
You know, as far as me compared to the upper echelon of jujitsu practitioner champion fighters, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So if one of these high level jujitsu athletes were to do what Apollo did and say, Adam, I'm going to give you a shot at my title or my championship, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a super fight with me. Okay. And it's going to be in front of thousands and thousands, who knows, maybe millions of people, but let's say
Yeah.
thousands of people.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to accept it? Are you down? I don't know if I do it because I mean, that's like, yes, the money sounds awesome, but there is a good chance that I'm going to go out there and I'm probably, not only am I probably going to lose, but there's a good chance I'm going to go out there and get tapped out really fucking fast.
Okay.
You know, I'd like to think that I wouldn't get tapped out really fast, but I mean, there is a chance that Rocky could have stepped into the ring and got knocked out in the very first fucking round.
Right.
And it's like, how does that help his life after that? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it cool that he got a chance at the title, or is it embarrassing that he went out there and got knocked out in one round?
Right. I I feel like I wouldn't be able to live with the thought of what if. Like if I did turned it down, I would always constantly think, what if I actually took that fight? I don't, you know what I mean? Like what if would haunt me for the rest of my life.
So as the movie's progressing, you can tell that Polly's getting a little jealous,
Yeah.
jealous of the relationship that Adrian is starting to develop with Rocky
Yeah.
because she is, I don't think she's probably doing that much less, but she's probably doing less for Polly. You know, she takes care of Polly,
Right.
right? And he's gotten to a point to where that's what he expects.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's not gonna like it if all of a sudden it disappears. And then on top of that, as Adrian gets closer to Rocky and she starts coming out of her shell more and more and more, her confidence level is starting to build little by little by little, which means she's getting to the point to where she's willing to give a little bit of attitude or fight back against Polly depending on the situation, you know, like whenever they get into arguments. And I don't think he likes that shit either.
Well, no, because she's like, he was always the dog barking at her, and now she's barking back. So he's like, wait a second, I don't like this. And I'm sure before she was always at his like beck and call. He's probably like, oh, I'm hungry, and she'd make him something. But now she's spending time with Rocky, and she's not always there. She's not always available. So for him, of course, like he's like, hey, what's up with this? And I'm sure vice versa too. He probably wants to hang out with Rocky, and he's probably hanging out with his
Yeah.
sister.
And you know, like that is a little bit on Rocky too. Like, yes, he was just at Paulie's house, but he was definitely there to hang out with Adrian.
Oh, of course.
I don't think he was there to hang out with Paulie.
No, he's had enough Polly time.
Yeah, and it's like if you're gonna start dating your best friend's sister, okay, you can't start hanging out with your best friend less to hang out with your sister. You can't do that, okay? Like you gotta still make time for your best friend.
Yeah.
No friend wants to feel like he's being fucking traded off.
Especially for
okay?
their sister.
You know, like if you and your homie, if you hang out, let's say 3 times a week,
Yeah.
okay? 3 times a week, you guys hang out, y'all go do stuff together, whatever, play video games, watch movies, go out to eat, whatever, okay? But then he starts dating your sister and he starts going out with her 3 times a week. So he can only fit you in maybe once a week or less.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't be cool.
No.
I'd be pretty, like if I was Paulie, I would be a little pissed off, but not really at Adrian. Adrian didn't do anything wrong, but I'd be a little pissed off at Rocky in a sense. Just a tiny bit. Just be like, hey, don't forget about me, bro. I'm still your friend.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure.
Okay, so now we get to a pretty interesting part of the movie. Rocky has accepted the fight against Apollo Creed. The fight is set, it's on. he's getting a shot at the championship of the world. But he's pretty much going to train himself. Paulie was talking to him, was like, what are you going to do? You're going to get a trainer, or you need help with training. He was like, and he said something along the lines of, hey, Paulie, who cared about me yesterday? Nobody. You know, I'm just going to train myself. Right? And
Pretty hardcore.
yeah, that was his mindset going into it, that he was basically alone.
Okay.
Okay. But then Mickey comes knocking on his door. And Mickey comes in, and you can tell that he's heard that Rocky has a shot at the title, and he wants to be his manager.
Okay.
He wants to be his trainer. He wants to be in his corner. I will say that is a little bit of a fucking douchebag move on Mickey's part.
Well, yeah, because he was talking all this crap to him prior to this when he
Exactly.
was a nobody, but now he's doing this fight and he's like, hey.
Exactly. Hey, bring me along for the ride. Give me and my gym the rub. You know, like now we get to be in the limelight with you against Apollo Creed, the champ of the world. Yeah. And that's a little messed up. And Rocky immediately feels that.
Yeah.
He immediately feels that he's like, yeah, you want to help me, but I don't have a locker, do I?
Yeah.
You know? And he's upset about it.
Yeah.
And then him and Mickey start getting into an argument, a debate, and he's saying, it's like, kid, if you wanted my help, why didn't you ask me for help? Because he says, like, I asked you for your help 6 years ago. You didn't want to help me. Or 2 years ago, or you didn't want to help me. It's like, kid, if you wanted my help, why didn't you ask me? It's like, I did ask you. You never wanted to hear nothing. And it's like, I'm 76 years old. I don't always, you know, like I don't always hear well anymore or whatever. And he is making excuses. He is, because he treats Rocky like crap.
Yeah.
I also think, I'm not 100% sure, but I would like to think that maybe part of Mickey also is a little worried about Rocky because he doesn't want him to get taken advantage of by boxing promoters and the world of boxing, because it can be pretty corrupt and they can fuck over fighters. Okay? And he doesn't want him to make a bunch of mistakes in his journey that he made in his day. He's got a chance at the title and he wants him to do it right. And he knows that Rocky's going to do better in the fight with his training than if he didn't have his training. Okay. So I do think he kind of has his back a little bit, but it's definitely also coming from a little bit of a selfish place as well, because it's going to help his gym as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's kind of interesting because Rocky ends up coming to the same conclusion. When he kicks Mickey out of his apartment because he's pissed at him, Mickey's walking his way out, walking down the street. Rocky's in his apartment just yelling, just mad. He's pissed off about the fact that nobody wanted to help him. And it's like, where were you? You know, and all that crap, right?
Yeah.
But then he comes walking out his apartment gate, his screen door, and he follows Mickey down the street. And you see him kind of talking to him, pat him on the shoulder, shakes his hand or whatever. And he agrees. Okay. So I think Rocky also came to the conclusion that even though it was a dick move for Mickey to come at him the way that he did, he also knows that he stands a better chance at doing well in this fight against Apollo with Mickey's help than without.
Right. And it also leads me to believe that there's some type of trust that Rocky has with him. Because, like, going back to, like, what you said, yes, a lot of this is, like, selfishness that he wants, you know, his gym to be popular and all this stuff, Mickey. But at the same time, he's known him for such a long time, so he's seen him growing up. So in a way, he wants to help him because, like you said, he knows, like, the negative side effects of all this boxing and money and all these contracts and stuff. So he wants to help him. And then Rocky also has that trusting feeling towards him.
I do wonder if Rocky completely trusts him or if he kind of just wants to. Like, he looks at him like a possible father figure, but I don't think they've had enough connection for him to actually look at him like a father figure yet. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Because he doesn't even go to any of his fights. He doesn't help him. He treats him like crap.
That is true. That is true.
But at the same time, I think Rocky wants his help. I think he's always wanted his admiration, but he can never get it from him because Mickey sees him as a bum. You know, I will say, I don't know if I would have been able to swallow my pride and chase after Mick afterwards and agree to it. Because I would have been pretty pissed too.
Well, yeah, yeah. In that situation, you got all those emotions and adrenaline. One thing I do love about Sylvester Stallone is that when he's angry, he's like very, very like his whole body is enraged, and I love that as from an actor.
Sometimes, though, he can be a little hard to understand.
Oh yes.
I mean, I'm used to it for the
Yeah.
most part, but man,
Yeah.
like I was watching First Blood, the first Rambo movie.
Yes.
And at the very end of the movie, when he's doing his dramatic scene where he's talking about all the PTSD shit, you know, his friend's legs being blown off or whatever like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty decent scene for the most part. The content is pretty intense, but when he starts going off, like sometimes he rambles.
Yes, he does.
Like he slurs and he rambles a lot.
Yes,
and
he
what?
does.
And if I didn't have subtitles in that moment, I would have missed quite a bit of what he said.
Oh, I agree. I agree. So now it's like officially he's going to start training
Yes.
mode.
Yes.
Which is interesting because like in his apartment, it showed like all the KFC buckets and then like all these fast, trash. And then also he's always drinking. So he really, really, really has to be disciplined.
And you know what? I will say this. He does get disciplined almost overnight. Like he literally wakes up the morning where it's time to start training and he gets up. What did he get up at? 5 a.m., 6 a.m.? It was still
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning. He gets up, he walks up to his fridge, and he does the infamous cracking like 6 or freaking 7 eggs into a cup, and he chugs all that shit.
He has no fear of salmonella. I'm like, no.
I will say, like, it's a lot of protein right away, but goddamn, I don't know if I'd be able to drink eggs like that.
I literally would be gagging.
That's pretty fucking intense. I wonder how many people, after seeing this movie, tried that shit, like, right away.
Oh, I know my dad tried it.
Did he
for
really?
sure. Oh, yeah. And I think randomly, like, he feels like unwell or something, he'll, like, randomly chug a raw egg.
Really?
Yeah. But he loves Rocky, so I'm sure that's his inspiration from it.
But yeah, he gets up in the morning. It says that it's 28 degrees outside, and he fucking starts going for a run. And he doesn't even wear running shoes. He's wearing fucking Converse. Look at that. He's wearing Chuck Taylors down there. I don't remember those shoes having very good padding in them.
No, they don't. But I mean, at that, because it's like 1976, right?
Yeah.
What other options do they have? Not much, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming
It
that.
was very limited.
I mean, there might have still been running shoes. I don't know if they were great running shoes, but I don't know. I guess people ran in that shit. That shit has to hurt. That can't be good for the
Yeah.
for the ankles and the knees and the shins.
No.
So on this first running scene, he's running pretty much all through Philadelphia, and it's empty streets. So he's kind of just running right smack in the middle of the road. And he finishes at the infamous staircase scene in front of the museum. He barely makes it to the top. You can tell that he's tired and he's cramping and he's hurting a little bit, but he does make it to the top. I don't know how they felt about the scene when they made it, but it is almost insane how popular the stair scene became in Rocky Balboa.
Oh.
In Rocky.
Yeah.
Like it's legendary.
Right.
Those stairs are immortalized forever because of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's already like a public place to begin with. And then for him doing this in such an inspirational movie, I mean, it's just the perfect solution for it. I mean, it has to happen.
I wonder how much visitor business upticked in that museum after this movie, because the stairs are amazing. Like the stairs are great. They're legendary. They're iconic. But he never goes into the museum.
No.
He never goes in it.
No.
So I do wonder if a lot of people started going to the museum and actually going inside, or if it didn't really increase visitors that much, but you had a shitload of people running up the stairs.
I would say just the stairs thing. But then again, I mean, if I were to go there just for the stairs, I'd be like, well, might as well go to the museum. But that's just me. What
they should have done, and they're fucking assholes for not doing it, is number one, they should have left the Rocky statue there from Rocky 3. They should have left it there. They left it there for years. And then all of a sudden, I forget what two parties were having a debate. like, I want to say, let's say some head of the museum or some head of like an art regulatory body or something. I forget. But somebody in the artist side of the world said that that statue shouldn't be there because it's a movie prop. It's not art.
Oh,
It's considered a movie prop.
okay.
Movie props are not art, according to them. Whereas, like, the mayor of the city loved it. He thought it was great. It was great for the city. It was
Yeah.
iconic. And, you know, he was proud to have it in his city. And then eventually they took the statue down. And I think it moved to one or two different places before eventually ending up, it's on a corner. I forget which corner it's on. I don't know how far it is from the museum and the original steps, but it's on a street corner.
Okay.
And I think there's a park there or something. So
Okay.
now that's where it stays permanently. So now if you want to see the Rocky statue, you're going to see it at this corner. You're not going to see it at the top of the steps anymore. But I think it's bullshit. Like, I mean, they should have kept that fucking statue there. That statue is the best thing that that city has. I mean, and not only that, the museum should have had a permanent, since the very first movie, exhibit of Rocky forever.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
I
like, dude,
mean,
you have the Rocky steps
yeah.
outside. You had the Rocky statue. Get yourself a Rocky exhibit, a badass Rocky exhibit, and just keep it there permanently. You want more people walking through the door? Not only did Rocky provide that for you, but now you can use a Rocky exhibit to get more people in. So they go up the stairs, they hear there's a Rocky exhibit in there, and they go and take a look.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to assume that they had no marketing director because anyone in their right mind would say, of course, let me just, hop on this train because this is so much popularity. Like, I need to make this work.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like, and Rocky is still a beloved character to this day. This movie came out in 1976. That is a long goddamn time ago.
It's more than 40 years
That's
ago, right?
50 years ago.
50 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's 50 years ago.
Whoa.
This movie is 50 years old, basically.
Whoa.
But people still love this movie. People still love that character. And he's like a shining beacon icon for Philadelphia. It's like, dude, use it. You don't just fucking throw it to a street corner and forget about it.
No.
And I don't know if it's still like this. I'm assuming that it is. But those Rocky steps, like, to this day, all day long, people are running up and down the Rocky steps. Like, it's just super popular. His statue all day long is getting people visiting it. You know,
Yeah.
like here in town where I'm at, Corpus Christi, we have a Selena statue. So now Selena is not as badass as Rocky. She's just not. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care that she was a real person. Okay. She is not as cool or iconic as Rocky Balboa is to the world. But even her statue gets visitors on the daily.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a bucket list and I would like to run on those steps. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that's
That'd be-
definitely on
that'd
my
be a nice
bucket list.
That'd
Not
be
only
cool.
do I want to run those goddamn steps one day, but I want to find the route that he ran.
Ooh,
I
that
want
would
to
be
find the
cool.
route that he ran. Like, I don't know if it's a real route. You know, it was probably just scenes that they picked in the city. Okay. But if I could find some semblance of a real route of an area that looks like Rocky's apartments, or maybe even find Rocky's apartment and then fucking Google Maps that shit and create myself a running route to those steps, I would love to run that route one day.
I love that. Yes.
Hopefully it's not like 30 miles or something like that, because then I'll die. But
You won't die. But
I that is fucking long. Okay, I can run
I
like
don't think it was 30 miles.
with no training right off the bat. I can run, let's say, 3 miles without dying.
Okay.
Okay, anything past 3, and I'm getting to the point where I might start dying. 30, like, I probably died at mile 20 at that point. Like, I'm probably just dead, laying dead on the road, and people are just running my body over.
I would also like to wear his same outfit. The same tattered up gray sweatshirt, those gray sweatpants. I don't think I'd like the Chucks though.
Dude, I love Mick, how he's all fucking just, he's all business. He's no bullshit.
It's like, get
So
out of here.
he's getting Rocky to start working on his balance on the punching bag, and these two young girls come in and they want Rocky's autograph, and Mickey tells them, get the hell out of here. Get your little chicken asses out of here. And then he tells Rocky, hey, lay off that pet shop dame, which means no sex.
Yeah,
Like
Adrian.
focus on
Yes.
training, no sex.
Yes.
And Rocky abides.
Yeah, because Adrian was trying to like, advance on him, but he was like, no, 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 no. Because he's in the zone. He's dedicated.
Yeah, it is definitely. I think it's an old school training thing. To where you're not supposed to have sex during training. It's just I don't know if there's actually any scientific, like physical advantage to not having sex, during training, but it is something that a lot of old school fighters would adhere to.
I hear it a lot.
I don't know if new school fighters still follow that shit though. I'm gonna go ahead and say that they probably don't. There's so much other fight science right now that goes on into training. I doubt that not having sex is like the make or break thing that's going to make sure that they actually win a fight. Another pretty iconic scene, when you think about it, it's a little bit of a weird scene. Is the fact that Rocky goes to the meatpacking plant where Paulie works. He goes in there and they're shooting the shit or whatever like that. But Paulie's getting pissed off. He's getting pissed off because he wants Rocky to talk to Gazzo about him being a collector just like Rocky. And Rocky doesn't want to do it. I don't think he thinks that Paulie has what it takes to do his job. Or maybe he doesn't want him doing his job. Maybe he doesn't think that it's good for Paulie or good for anybody. Whatever his reason is, he's not going to talk to Gazzo. And Paulie's getting upset because he keeps asking him throughout the movie. He wants him to talk to him, and Rocky keeps putting it off. So he gets pissed off and he starts punching some slabs of meat, some big ass fucking hanging beef carcasses right there in his meatpacking plant. He hits it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then Rocky kind of like pushes him out of the way a little bit, and then he starts doing some fucking boxing on that shit. And I don't really know why he did that. It's like, did he do that to scare Paulie? Like, this is how you punch. Or did he do it because like, hey, that looks like a good idea. Let me give that a shot.
I don't know. I mean, the cameras are there, so maybe he felt more influenced by it. Like,
Yeah, but the
like on a show.
the cameras weren't there yet. Like he did this before the cameras.
That's right. That's
Paulie
right.
brought in the cameras later on because he wanted to get some advertising going on.
That's right.
I think he's getting advertising for the meatpacking plant, which means Paulie's probably getting a cut.
That's right. I was thinking he was going to do it right now again.
He is going to do it again. But now, like, whenever he does it with the camera crew, then he's doing it for the camera. But before, he did it just to do it. We do get a pretty good scene. So whenever Rocky is punching the meat on the news, we get to see who's actually watching it. And Apollo doesn't see it, but his trainer Duke does. And while Duke is watching Rocky fight, you can see that Duke is now a little worried that this guy is taking it more serious than they thought he was going to take it. He might actually possibly be a threat. And he tries to get Apollo to take a look at it. It's like, hey, you might want to come take a look at this boy you're fighting. He looks like he means business, right? And Apollo's like, yeah, I mean business too. Meanwhile, he's doing business. Okay. He's just handling the promotion side of it because for him, that's the money part of it.
Yeah.
He pretty much feels like the boxing part of it, he has that shit down.
He's
like,
not even contemplating that he's going to lose.
Yeah, it's not even a question. Yeah. He is going to beat Rocky Balboa. It's just a matter of how much money is he going to make while he's doing it. And that's what he's putting all his time and effort into. But meanwhile, Duke can see that Apollo, his attention isn't on the fight at all. And you can see that Duke is starting to worry that Apollo is not taking this fight seriously. Okay. So we get to a pretty funny scene. Okay. So it's Christmas or Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And they're all hanging out over at Paulie's house. Now, Paulie hasn't gotten home yet. And he walks in and he hears Rocky talking to Adrian about Paulie wanting to work for Gazzo. And then he's like, I can't. It's like, I don't know what he wants me to do. I can't help him with that. He keeps asking me, but I don't think he can do it or whatever. Right. And Paulie gets his feelings hurt. Now, I actually don't have a problem with Paulie getting his feelings hurt a little bit. Okay. I mean, like, it was a shot towards him a little bit. Yeah. He's a sensitive guy. It's understandable that he gets his feelings hurt. He's getting pissed off at Rocky. He's getting pissed off at Adrian. He busts out a baseball bat and he starts hitting shit. Yes, he's throwing too big of a temper tantrum. It is crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
But the only real part that I think is weird is at a certain point, Adrian is yelling at Polly, like, I do everything for you. I cook for you. I clean for you. I do everything for you. I don't owe you anything. And Polly says something like, you're busted. You're not a virgin anymore. And she goes running off.
Oh my God.
That was the first thing that comes out of his mouth after she unleashes on him is, you've had sex, you're not a virgin anymore.
Get
And
out
like
of here.
Rocky gets super pissed off and he's like, grabbing him and then he lets him go. And it's like, I could understand him being jealous of his friend and his sister spending more time together than with him. I can understand him being pissed or hurt because Rocky was kind of like talking a little bit down about him while he was walking in, so he got his feelings hurt. I can understand all of that. But why the fuck would he care whether or not his sister is having sex? It's like, it's not your daughter.
No. And I think in a sense he was trying to insult her, like degrade her, because I'm going to assume they're from a religious family. But I will say when I saw that scene, I was very annoyed at Rocky. Usually, because Rocky doesn't annoy me. Every now and again he does. But not once did he get up to be like, hey, calm down, Polly. Like, he pulled out the bat and he was just like sitting the whole time. Like the entire time. And I was like, man, I would be, if I was Adrian, I'd be like, Rocky, my brother literally had a bat and he was like so upset with me. You couldn't have gotten up and be like, hey, calm down. It wasn't until he yelled that you're not a virgin that he got mad.
Okay,
I was like, he should have gone in before.
All right, okay. There's a couple of reasons why I don't have a problem with what he did. Okay, like number one, when he's sitting there, he's in a vulnerable spot. He's sitting down. He's not standing up. So if he wants to lunge at Polly, he has to get up first. Okay, and in that situation, if he's going to get up and let's say, hey, calm down, or possibly try to take the bat away from him, no matter what, if he gets up and he approaches Polly's going to take it as a sign that you're trying to take this bat away from me. And if you're going to take the bat away from me, what are you going to do to me? Because he knows Rocky's bigger and stronger than him. And that bat is the equalizer. That's the thing that he can use if he wants to get physical with Rocky. And in that situation, it does seem like he's either wanting to get physical or he's wanting to scare Rocky and Adrian to the idea of him getting physical, right? Okay. So basically, Polly has the drop on Rocky right there. Okay. I don't think it would have been the smartest thing for Rocky to get up and go after him. He could have gotten hit. And if he had gotten hit and gotten hurt, the fight is off.
That's true.
He had to be smart right there. And on the flip side, maybe he didn't think that Polly was actually going to do anything. Okay. Maybe he's known Polly long enough to know that this is how he gets himself, like this is how he lets himself expresses himself. He needs to just get it out.
Yeah, I can see that, but I was still, from an outside perspective, it still annoyed me, but I understand. And then also possibly, now that I look at it, he just didn't want to use any energy that he didn't have to, right? Maybe he's saving up all that energy because he's training. He's like, I don't want to deal with anything right now.
Or maybe he didn't want to hurt Polly. Maybe he didn't want to hurt him. Because, like, I mean, if he gets up and he gets into a confrontation with Polly and Polly has a baseball bat, he might have to put his hands on him and he might have to hurt him so that he doesn't get hurt himself. Maybe he doesn't want to hurt Polly. It could have just been all of the above. But I don't think it was like, oh, I'm just going to sit and let Polly possibly beat the crap out of Adrian with the baseball bat because, I don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah.
After that part, we get into the full-on training montage. Rocky's been training a little bit, but now we get into the full training montage where you get the going stronger, getting stronger music. And we see him boxing in the ring. We see him chasing chickens. I don't know if he chases chickens in this movie. I think he chases chickens. He chases chickens in the second movie. He's running, he's sprinting, he's running up the steps, he's doing one-arm push-ups, he's doing sit-ups. They're conditioning his body, all that good stuff, right? And it's not a bad montage. It's a pretty damn good montage. How do you feel about this montage compared to all the rest of the movies?
This is a great montage, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is the one where he's in a car. Well, there's two. There's two. Well, like there's one where he's in this with Russia, where he goes to Russia and he has that beard.
Yes.
That's my favorite montage. Is that the same one where the car?
It's the same movie, but it's not the same montage.
Okay.
It's two separate montages. So,
Okay.
so in part 4, you have it's not a training montage, but it is a montage.
Yes.
Where he's having to go for a drive because Adrian doesn't think that he's going to be able to win the fight. So he's kind of trying to deal with that. Okay. So he gets in his car and you get a pretty badass song that comes on and he's driving and he's just thinking about everything. And you get scenes from every movie in that. And you get scenes from the fight scenes. So it's just a big montage of everything that's happened in all 3 movies up until this 4th one. And that one's really, really good for sure.
I love that montage.
And then you get the 2-part training montage at the end of the movie when he's in Russia. You get a slightly slower montage in the beginning where it's a score, like an orchestral soundtrack, and he's slowly starting to build up and work out in Russia. But then Adrian shows up in Russia in the middle of his training montage, and then she tells him, I'm with you no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here with you no matter what. And then it busts into the Hearts on Fire montage.
Yes. Yes.
And that
yes.
one's even more intense. That's where it really ramps up.
Yes.
And that is the best montage of the entire series,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
After seeing all the montages throughout all the movies, it sucks to say that this one, I'm not going to put it at the bottom of the list, but it is kind of close to there just because all the other ones were grander. They were bigger, better,
Yeah.
grander. But none of them would be possible if it wasn't for this first one.
Oh no, right.
This is Genesis right
Yes.
here.
And I guess the favorite part of like this whole montage for me, when he's running, like he's running already like pretty fast, but then he like sets it into like high gear, and he runs like super fast. For me, it's just like when I'm jogging or running, and you feel like, okay, I feel like I'm about to give up. Let me push myself even further, because you get that feeling.
Yeah.
I like that scene a lot.
Yeah.
I do. He's such a good runner. There's several runners, like actors. Like he's a very good runner. Tom Cruise is a really good runner. I forget who else.
You know who's a terrible runner? You know who looks absolutely atrocious when he runs? Samuel L. Jackson.
I've never seen him.
Dude, he looks like
run.
trash. He looks like an old man when he runs, like a really fucking old man. And granted, he is an old man now, but I think he's ran like that his entire goddamn life.
I've never seen him run.
You gotta watch a couple
Okay.
of scenes of him running because it's pretty fucking
Okay.
funny when he runs. And you know who else also runs kind of stupid? Steven
Who?
Seagal.
I think I have his little ponytail
Because
swaying in the wind.
when he runs, his hands kind of like
Flail?
they flail.
Okay.
Yeah, when he runs, his hands kind of flail.
Okay.
What's funny is when I was a kid, I used to think that was how cool people ran. Because I used to think that Steven Seagal was cool
Yeah.
because I liked his movies.
Yeah,
Because
he has some cool movies.
and even though he's a fucking whack job now, his movies were badass back in the 90s and the 90s. His movies were badass. He had a string of really fucking cool action movies. So when I watched those movies and I would see him run like that, I didn't think to myself, oh, he runs like a little bitch or he runs like a girl. I didn't think that. I thought to myself, oh, I guess that's how cool people run. So I kind of wanted to run like that. But you can't just change how you run.
No.
So like it didn't stick. But yeah, I remember thinking that when I saw him run. So after the training, Rocky goes and he takes a moment inside the actual boxing ring in the empty arena the night before the fight. And while he's there, he's thinking, right? He's got a lot on his mind. It's night before fight day. It's probably a madhouse in his head.
Yeah.
When he comes home and he sits down on the bed, Adrian wakes up and he's talking to Adrian. He tells her something. He says, I can't do it. I can't win. I'm not even in the same league as him. And Adrian's trying to convince him. He's like, no, it's true. It is what it is. And he's like, but you know what? It doesn't matter if I lose this fight or not, because all I want to do is go the distance.
Okay.
Nobody's ever gone the distance with Creed before, and he wants to do that. He wants to go the distance. Whether or not that scene can be looked at as a good thing or a bad thing, I think it's a little bit tricky, because on the one hand, you could say that Rocky is going into the fight already thinking he's going to lose. And that's not a really good way to go into fights. You shouldn't be going into a fight thinking you're going to lose. That's a very
Right.
negative way to go into a fight.
Right.
When you do that, you're basically setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
So, as somebody who has competed before, that's not the mindset you should be having. However, on the flip side, Rocky does set a personal goal for himself. It's like, okay, I understand that I can't win this fight. It's impossible, but I might be able to go the distance.
Okay.
And if I can go the distance, that is a personal victory for myself. So I can't win this fight, but I can at least achieve a victory for myself, which is going the distance. And that's something nobody's ever fucking done before with Apollo Creed.
Okay.
So in that sense, he did give himself a goal, and he went out there and he fought his heart out to achieve that goal. So it's like, which one is it? Was he going in with the wrong frame of mind, or did he go in with a good frame of mind?
Okay. That's a good question. I didn't look at it from the perspective of a fighter, but I definitely looked at it as Rocky is super courageous because he was like, in that moment, he was accepting his defeat, his demise, his embarrassment, whatever. But he's still like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it, but I'm gonna try to go as far as possible. So like he's very courageous. In my perspective, I was like, that's very positive for me because I'm like, wow.
You know, you know how in boxing fights and in some fight movies and anything with fighting, any pugilistic type movie, usually they depict the wife who doesn't really like to watch the fights because they don't want to see him getting beat up. How would you feel in that situation? Like, would you want to watch the fights ringside, or would you not be able to watch the fights?
I mean, I definitely would not want to see like my boyfriend, my husband, whatever, being injured, but at the same time, I want him to know I'm supportive. I'm like right here. It sucks to see like your partner getting beat up, but at the same time, I myself would show up for him as support.
So ringside?
Yes.
Okay.
As much as I'm like squeamish and stuff, like I said, but I'd be there because that's his passion,
Yeah.
for me.
There's a pretty funny part right before they get to the ring. So they're at the fight. It's fight day. Rocky's making his entrance, and he's got this really baggy robe, and all he keeps talking about is how baggy it is. It's real baggy, And it's funny because in the second movie, he has a much nicer robe, and he's like, I got this robe. It's real nice. It's like, and Mickey's like, oh yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. And he's like, remember that baggy one from last year? It's like, that one was real baggy. This one's way nicer. He's like, oh yeah, it's beautiful. And then at a certain point, like Mickey sees there's a billboard on his back for, I forget what it was. I think it was a liquor store or some shit like that, or the meat packing plant or something. Anyway, there's an ad on the back of his robe, and he's like, what are you, a walking billboard or some shit like that? I forget exactly what he says. And it's like, where did that come from? It's like, oh, I'm just doing a favor for a friend. And it's like, well, what do you get out of it? It's like, Paulie gets $3,000. I get the robe.
Oh.
and Mickey's like, shrewd.
Apollo's such a show pony. Like he does it all for the attention.
Yeah, he's basically Muhammad Ali turned up even more, like Muhammad Ali times 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Apollo Creed is definitely supposed to be a Muhammad Ali type character.
Okay.
So Rocky got inspiration for this movie after watching Muhammad Ali fight this guy named Chuck Wepner, I believe it was. Is some average white dude fighter.
Okay.
And Chuck Wepner, he doesn't win, but I think he gave him like a tough fight, or maybe he made it to the very end or whatever, and nobody thought he was going to make it to the end. So like he did lose, okay? But it was just like this nobody dude. I don't know a whole lot about him, but he saw that fight, and then he like instantly got inspiration, and then he went and wrote this movie. So he definitely just copied Muhammad Ali as far as like Apollo Creed's character.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
You know what's kind of cool? That Rocky's loan shark boss is there at the fight ringside. Not only that, he gave him like $500 to pay for his training. He went to his fight. He cheered him on. He bet on him. I think he did bet on Rocky to win. And in the second movie, I forget, he doesn't work for him in the second movie anymore, but he went to his wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's such a supportive friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Like legit.
A supportive boss.
Yeah.
I don't watch a whole lot of boxing, but I do watch a lot of mixed martial arts. I watch a lot of UFC. It's more relatable to me since I do jujitsu. And but I have seen a lot of fights. I've seen lots of fights over the past, 20 years or whatever. And I'm trying to think of the biggest underdog story that I've ever seen in mixed martial arts. It's it's crazy, because it is a pretty rare thing to get a really huge underdog, somebody who is average at best,
Hmm.
and then somehow fights his way to a championship title. Whether he wins it or not, he makes it to a championship fight. And the first person that comes to mind is there's this fighter named Matt Serra. Now, Matt Serra was a pretty good jiu-jitsu competitor. Really solid. Okay, short little dude though, short.
Okay.
Um, and then he started fighting in the UFC in the earlier days of the
Hmm.
UFC. Um, and he would win some and he would lose some, but he fought a lot of really good dudes and he was pretty competitive with most of them. So in that sense, he wasn't a scrub or anything like
Yeah.
that, but he definitely wasn't a champ. He never made it to a title fight, or maybe he did. I know he fought BJ Penn, and BJ Penn was a champ for a while at lightweight, but I don't know if when he fought BJ Penn it was a title fight. I don't think it was, because it was only a 3-round fight, so it wasn't a title fight. BJ Penn probably won the title shortly after or whatever. Later on, he started going. I don't know if he got cut from the. Yes, he got cut. Like, he got cut from the UFC, and then they had the Ultimate Fighter series called. It was a series called the Ultimate Fighter: The Comeback. And what they
Okay.
did is they filled that season with a whole bunch of fighters who had been in the UFC before
Okay.
and got washed out. So it was a comeback, right? And
Mhm.
Matt Serra was on that season, and he was really good on it as far as like coaching, because he's been a long time jiu-jitsu coach, so he was really good at helping everybody on the team, and he did really good, and he ended up winning the Ultimate Fighter. And for that particular season, whoever won the Ultimate Fighter got an automatic shot at the title. So he won the Ultimate Fighter, and granted, everybody he fought on the show, they were like okay fighters. None of them were championship material at that time.
Yeah.
None of them. But he did okay, and he won, and then he got a shot at the title against George St. Pierre,
Oh.
and he beat him. Yeah,
Whoa.
he beat him. It was one of the
Wow.
biggest upsets ever. There are a handful of amazing upsets. The first time Anderson Silva lost against, I forget his name, but yeah, when he first lost his UFC title, that was a monstrous upset. The first time Ronda Rousey lost, that was a pretty monstrous upset.
Mhm.
When Fedor Emelianenko lost, he's like this Russian fighter who fought outside the UFC. When he lost for the first time, that was a massive, massive upset. So
Mhm.
those are probably the biggest upsets in history. And Matt Serra beating GSP the way that he did, it was up there.
Wow. And if I'm not mistaken, GSP was that guy that we saw in Captain America?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
GSP. GSP was like a super champ.
Okay.
Now, GSP did come back and smoke him in the rematch,
Oh
though. Like,
man.
he smoked him. And then he went on another long title run after that.
Wow. But
Yeah,
still for him to beat him that first time,
exactly.
that's
Like, it
amazing.
was a huge underdog story.
Wow.
Okay, so now we're at the fight. It's fight time for Rocky and Apollo Creed. And you know what I really love about Rocky fights? There's some people who would go out of their way and say that, oh, the Rocky boxing is so unrealistic. It's such trash. It's messy. It's wild. It's
Mhm.
not realistic at all. And so when they say like what's the best boxing movie or what's the best boxing in a movie, they'll try to reference some newer movie that tried to have cleaner boxing. And I've
Mhm.
even heard like directors and actors say that we tried to make the boxing not like Rocky, we tried to make it more real.
Mhm.
Basically saying that Rocky fighting was sloppy and fake looking and wild.
Okay.
Okay? And while it is wild, I
Mhm.
actually really fucking love all the boxing matches in Rocky, because while they might not be technically perfect or anything like that, they make up for it in storytelling, because that's more important, honestly. It's not it's not going to be awesome if you have two people punching each other or punching and kicking and beating the crap out of each other, but there's no story being told. Like there's no reason for it to be happening, and there's no emotion throughout it. If all you're relying on is to have a technically proficient choreographed fight, well then yeah, people are going to appreciate it for being a clean fight scene, but it's never going to be looked at as an amazing fight scene if you don't tell a story throughout it. You have to have some feeling. So for example, with this one, the story that's being told in this messy fight, and it is a messy fight, but the story that's being told is in the first round, Rocky comes at him hard, real hard, and he actually manages to knock him down. And then Apollo realizes that this dude means business. I underestimated him. I better turn it on. So then he starts turning it on. And he starts putting the whooping on Rocky, knocking him down over and over. But every time he knocks him down, Rocky keeps getting back up. And as Rocky is going through the fight, he is getting tired, but the more tired he gets, the more he goes at Apollo and goes harder. Meanwhile, as Apollo's getting tired, he's starting to slowly mentally break because he's seeing Rocky get up after every fucking hard shot that he gives him. Every time he knocks his ass down to the ground, Rocky gets up. And just when he thought he had it, just when he thinks that he has it and that he's about to win, Rocky gets up and he's like, God damn it. This guy will not stay down. And that is chipping away at Apollo's confidence. And you can see it in his face every time Rocky gets up, that his confidence is wavering. Meanwhile, Rocky's confidence is growing throughout the fight. And because of that, as Apollo starts to break, Rocky manages to beat him in that last round. He beats him pretty good. So much to the point to where it makes everybody watching, the viewers, even the fake audience in the movie, like it makes everybody think, had this fight gone on another 2 or 3 rounds, Rocky would have taken him out.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely agree because it's the weight of emotions and things behind the fighting. Like for Apollo, it's all business, 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 and like his reputation, right? But with Rocky, we were able to see like what was driving him to do that. What's behind every punch? Like what's his goal? Like he knew he was gonna probably not, in his mind, he wasn't gonna make it. But he was like, let me see actually how far I can go. And like for me, I think of it like as life. Yes, you're gonna be knocked down, you're gonna be kept pushing down, but you gotta keep getting up, keep getting up. Because life sucks sometimes. So it was very inspirational. Of course the montage before, but this part I found very inspirational because it's like, just keep going, keep going. Like you're going to get punched here and there, but you got to keep going.
Anybody who isn't able to see that in a fight, like if somebody watches this and all they take out of it afterwards is, man, that boxing was terrible.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person that's a piece of shit you don't want at your house hanging out with you.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, don't you see what's going on?
Yeah.
There's a story being told here.
Yes.
Let yourself get hooked in. Care about the characters.
Yeah.
They're fucking handling business and they're telling a badass story. And it's funny because that mindset, that equation that I just talked about right now, that is very, very much the same thing that pro wrestling does.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like pro wrestling because it's fake, but it being real or fake isn't what matters. What they're doing is they are portraying a choreographed fight scene like a movie, and what they try their hardest to do is showcase a story throughout that fake fight.
Yeah.
Just like a movie.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're basically, it's like a play almost.
Yes, yeah.
It's a play of a fight scene, and they got to try to convey a story. And all the greatest pro wrestlers in the world have always been very good at telling a story in the ring. They call it having ring psychology, knowing how to make the audience feel a certain thing. Feel scared, feel happy, feel excited, feel hatred. It's ring psychology. You want to get the audience, and in this case, we're the audience watching the movie. You want to get them to feel a certain thing. And that's what pro wrestling's all about. And that's what movies should be all about.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome because to cap off the story, when the fight is over, The first and only thing Rocky cares about is he's calling for Adrian. So
Yeah.
you get the infamous Adrian chants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's trying to make her way to the ring and she's saying Rocky, Rocky, and he's just yelling. And in the background you can hear that the announcer is telling the judging scores for the fight. But Rocky doesn't even care. He doesn't
No.
care if he won or lost.
Yeah.
In his mind, he already won because he made the distance, and now he
Yes.
just wants Adrian to be in the ring with him and share the moment with him.
Yes.
That's all that matters to him.
Yeah. And I love that because, I mean, they're best friends. They share everything together. Their worst parts, their best parts. So for him, she, out of everyone, knew how important this was for him. And also, she also talked to him the night before when he was so low and he was like, I admit to you, I'm probably going to fail, more than likely.
Yeah.
So she knew his ups and downs.
So now that the movie is all done, it's over. How do you feel about this movie as far as, I mean, I don't know how many boxing movies you've ever watched, or let's say sports movies, or let's say drama inspirational movies. How does this movie rank with you in that kind of area?
Well, it's number one.
Number one?
Yes. Yeah, it's the best out of all of them. I think, but then again, I've only probably seen like Million Dollar Baby.
$1 Million Baby was pretty good though.
It is good, but this is way better.
Yeah, this Rocky's better. Rocky's better, but
Yeah.
$1 Million Baby is very good.
Yeah. I can't really think of any other boxing or sports movies I've seen, to be honest.
All right, so we're about to get to the review part of the podcast, but before we do, I'm going to throw it over to my man on the ground, the homie from the streets, Horchata Gonzalez, for his movie review of Rocky.
Orale Adam, mi canal. We just finished watching Rocky and I'm still sweating like 5 mules and mijas backed into the back of a Cadillac with no AC. This movie is loco, vato. It's like Sylvester Stallone got high on raw eggs and decided to make the ultimate underdog story. Let's break it down before I start shadowboxing my horchata glass. Rocky Balboa, that vato is a broke-ass club fighter from Philly who looks like he got hit in the face with the piñata stick. He spends his day collecting lonchak money, punching a whole bunch of cow beefs like they just scratched his lowrider, and trying to put the mac on his best friend's sister, Adrian. This bro trains by running up those museum steps in a gray sweatsuit, waving his arms like he just won the lottery, Holmes. I was yelling, Ambelleraki, run, Vapo, run, while spilling popcorn everywhere. Apollo Creed, the champ, comes in loco style, Holmes. Red, white, and blue shorts, American flag robe, big hats, looking like Uncle Sam if Uncle Sam was a pimp. He picks Rocky literally because he wants to make a monster movie. The Italian Stallion versus the Black Panther or whatever. Then the fight happens and Rocky just keeps getting up like a piñata that refuses to break. The training montage, pure gold, homie. Rocky chasing chickens, doing one-arm push-ups, and drinking raw eggs like I chug my horchatas. And the romance with Adrian? Their love story is sweeter than my tia's flan, but clumsier than me trying to dance cumbia after too many horchatas. This underdog story touches us right in the corazon. It doesn't even matter if he loses the fight, bro. Because by the end, you're standing up yelling, Yo Adrian, like a vato at a Raiders game. It's slow in spots. The acting is as raw as uncooked chorizo. And Stallone's mumbling is harder to understand than my side chick's emotions, Holmes. But that's the charm, ese. It's silly, heartfelt, and makes you believe Amy broke homie can go the distance if he just keeps swinging. Final score from Horchata Gonzalez, 9 out of 10 raw eggs. This flick is the ultimate cholo motivation movie. Dumb, inspiring, and leaves you wanting to run up some stairs while screaming for your girl.
Okay, now is the time where we rate the movie ourselves. The formula is always going to be the same. 2 judges, 5 judging criterias. Me and my co-host are going to rate the movie 1 out of 10 across 5 different criterias. If I'm hosting the show myself, then my AI assistant Skynet will be my second judge. When we're done throwing out all of the scores, we'll add them all together, divide by 10, and bam, that'll be the movie's official movie buff rating. The 5 different judging criterias are as follows. First, the Pulitzer criteria. This score refers to the quality of the movie's story, plain and simple. Then, the Shakespeare criteria. This refers to how good the acting is in the movie. The Scorpion criteria. This has to do with how well a movie hooks you and pulls you in. Does it keep you engaged? The Encore criteria, one of the most important criterias of all. This refers to a movie's replay value. Just how rewatchable is it? And the most important of all, the Highlander criteria. This refers to the movie's ability and probability to live on forever. Will this movie be remembered in 10 years? Will people be quoting it in 20 years? Will people still be rewatching it 40 years later? So, Yahida, we're going to start with Pulitzer, the quality of the movie's story. What would you give this movie 1 out of 10?
I would say a solid 8.
I agree. 8. 8's solid. It's a very good story. The Shakespeare criteria. This is the acting in the movie. What would you give it?
I'd say a 6.
A 6?
Yeah, a 6 for me.
Why 6? Who in the movie do you think wasn't doing that good when it comes to acting?
I mean, they're all good actors, but I feel like maybe, and I know Adrian was supposed to be shy, but maybe her facial features needed a bit more for me.
Okay. So you think Adrian brought it down a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. No, I love her.
So you give it a 6?
A 6.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
I like the acting. I think the acting is pretty good. Like I think all the everybody is a character. Mickey is a character. Polly is a character. Apollo Creed is a character.
Yeah.
They're all very loud characters, but they play it real well. And at no point do I think anybody's cheesy or anything like that.
No.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go with 7. The Scorpion criteria. This is the movie's ability to hook you and suck you in.
I'm gonna say a 9, just because, I mean, it's an underdog story. You want to see, is he gonna make it? Is he not gonna make it? For me.
For me, pretty close. I don't know if I'd go 9. Like that's damn near perfect. So I'm gonna go 8.5.
Okay.
The Encore criteria. This is the movie's replay value.
I have a tough time watching movies in general again, but I would rewatch this. So I'm gonna say an 8.
The movie is rewatchable. It's very rewatchable. Almost all the Rocky movies are very rewatchable.
Yeah.
So how good is it? I'm going to go 7.5. All right. Last but not least, the Highlander criteria. This refers to the movie's ability to live on forever.
A solid 10.
I usually do not like giving out 10s because for something to be a 10 at something, that means it's flawless. And very rarely, like almost never, do you have something that's flawless. Is the movie a 10? No. But I mean, for some people, it will be a 10. For me, I wouldn't give it a 10. It's like I said, I can't really give movies 10s. But if we're talking solely about its ability to live on forever,
Yeah.
this is about as iconic and memorable of a movie and impactful of a movie on everybody as it gets. Like it just is.
Yeah.
It just is. This movie has motivated so many fucking people to try harder at whatever it is they're doing. This movie uplifts pretty much anybody who watches it. Everybody fucking loves Rocky. Every dude who wants to get pumped up to go to the gym watches a fucking Rocky montage before they go. Like
Yeah.
that's just the way that it is. So it's getting a 10.
Oh yeah. Even like it was so inspirational. I mean, I don't put anything on my desk wall, but I have a picture of Rocky on my desk wall. I'm like, if I'm having a bad day, just think about Rocky.
Yeah, that's a pretty good picture to have. Hell yeah. Yeah, Rocky's the man. I have a fucking Rocky picture right over there next to my front door.
It's
It's from
pretty cool.
it's from Rocky 4.
Yeah.
So when we get all those scores and we put them together and we divide by 10, that gives this movie an average score of 8.2. Let's see where that stands compared to the other movies that we have gone over. With an 8.2, this puts the movie at the number 1 spot so far. I only have 5 total movies reviewed, but this puts it at the number 1 spot, smashing Blade, which had 7.6.
Whoa, okay.
Then you got 7.3, Fifth Element, right underneath that, 7.05, Ninja Turtles, and then 5.23, Cobra.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very good.
That's going to be up there. I don't think it's going to be up there forever, but we'll see how long it takes for Rocky to get knocked off the number 1 spot. That's for sure.
We'll see who knocks it off.
Exactly.
Rocky 2.
We're going to get to Rocky 2 eventually. I don't know when, but we will. But for me, I don't think I like Rocky 2 more than I like Rocky 1. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It
Yeah.
feels like the same movie almost.
Yes.
But I don't know if it was like enough to make me think I like this better. It feels equal.
Right. I do like the montage because him and Apollo work together, correct?
No, that's part 3. But
Okay.
I'm glad you said that because I actually really do like the montage in part 2 because if you notice, the training montage in this movie only shows Rocky training.
Yes.
In part 2, it shows Rocky and Apollo training. It shows training footage from each of their sides.
Okay.
And then it continues that throughout all the movies. Part 3, it shows Rocky training. It shows Clubber Lang training. Part 4, it shows Rocky training. It shows Ivan Drago training. So like they continue with the whole, okay, we're going to show both sides training. Part 1's the only one that showed one side.
Okay.
And I think it's better to show both sides, to see
Yeah.
both sides taking it seriously, see what they're doing different, and how that's going to culminate to a fight. Okay, and that concludes this episode of Movie Buffs. Thank you for tuning in on our journey through rewatching Rocky from 1976. It was awesome. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're on Spotify and YouTube. Hit us up in the comments for any suggestions, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye.